In 2023, about 150,000 Americans were diagnosed with colon cancer, and about a third did not recover. March is actually Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and today we're talking about the screening tools and treatments, and this disease is largely preventable. Joining us with more, we've got Dr. Diana Bittner in studio once again. Always great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So we've been talking about knowledge is key, information is power, and the thing with this is if you get screened, if this is caught early, you have a much better prognosis.
Exactly. It's one of those things that, we're seeing more and more young people get diagnosed with colon cancer, so there's not always symptoms, so it's so important to know your risks and to get screened early. Who likes a colonoscopy or the prep? No one. But it's a lot better than colon cancer.
Yeah, so if somebody, what would be some symptoms if somebody maybe is in trouble and potentially has colon cancer?
So symptoms would be mainly like a marked change in your bowel habits. So diarrhea, constipation that doesn't make sense. Of course, blood in the stool is a big deal. If there's bloating, food intolerance, just things aren't right. Again, listen to your body, trust it, and get checked out.
Yeah, family history, is that a big one as well?
It's a big deal. And women of color and of Asian descent at a higher risk. And so what's great is that for everyone, the age has dropped. Before they said screening at 50, now we screen starting at 45.
Wow, okay.
And maybe even early for family history.
Okay, and we talked about the colonoscopy. If you've had one, the prep, it's not very fun, but there's another way to kind of do
There
screening.
is. So the colonoscopy screens for anything, a precancerous polyp, et cetera. What the Cologuard does, it's a test where you put your poo in a little container
little poo sample
and send it off. And what they look for is the DNA from cancer. So it screens for cancer, not for pre-cancer. But still, if that's the only thing you're going to do it. And it's done every 3 years. If you have a negative colonoscopy, it's every 10 years. If you have a colonoscopy and there's polyps, then it's every 5 or every 3, depending on what the polyps look like, how angry they are.
Let's talk about Jane.
So Jane was 42, and she started to have some symptoms, like urgency, pain, bloating, and then she noticed some dark blood. Bright red blood doesn't tend to be as big of a deal, but she had dark red blood. And so she then got checked out. Her doctor sent her for a colonoscopy, and unfortunately it was positive. She had colon cancer at 42. Wow. So she was a woman of color, which does increase her risk. And then, asking the family, turns out a cousin had it, an aunt had it, and there was more in there. So number one, talk to your family, right? So Jane, fortunately, it was early enough that she was able to get treated. She did have to have chemotherapy, and now she's doing well and just shouting from the rooftops, like, you gotta get checked out.
Yeah, being checked out and catching it early, so critical. What's your takeaway tip for us?
Takeaway tip is, number one, know your risk factors. If those risk factors are heightened at all, then get checked out. Get a Cologuard at least, or get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, don't wait and have regrets. I love to end there on that note. Dr. Bittner, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it as always.